How's it going, it's man? Tomorrow here. Thank y'all for coming through. The point of this podcast here is to have an actual discussion about this particular issue because I ran into it today. I was in Indianapolis at the Freightliner off of Thompson Road, I believe, and I was talking to a person, and this issue came up. And I really get tired of people trying to have conversations like this without being informed. So without further ado, hold on a second while I get to a less windier area. So that way, and give a shout out to the people who are here. Hold on a second while I move to a less windier area. It wasn't windy outside, but had a wind that picked up. So hold on a second. All right, I'm inside now. Seems to be way quieter in here. So make sure you hit the like button upon coming in. What's going on, the Cynical One? What's going on, Cedric Webb? What's going on, AO? What's going on, Ike? What's going on, Steve G? What's going on, Roger Spice? What's going on, Running on Sun? All right. So here's the thing. So I'm in line at Freightliner. Man, you do not want to go to the Freightliner on weekends. You do not want to go to the Freightliner on weekends. There's 100 people in line, and if you're missing one thing, you got to go all the way back outside and do all this crazy stuff. However, I'm in line, and people are talking about the actual yellow situation, which I have to do a whole live stream on that because I have to break down why it's a very stupid idea to have a company ran like the way yellow was ran. And I'm gonna show you the companies that have their type of business model, the same type of setup. They didn't go bankrupt, but Yellow did. Truth be told, Yellow was trying to get a big ass bailout from the federal government from behind the scenes. That's not gonna come out yet. That's probably gonna come out in 4 or 5 months. But that's what they was angling for, was a bailout that they didn't need because they already got one through PPP loan, EIDL loan, and multitudes of employee retention credits from the SBA. Yeah, a company like that needing help from the SBA is an abomination. Should never be trying to help out companies that big. But let's go back to this specific issue. So again, the guy was talking about the gas prices, and I'm like, what's wrong with Edmore Red Pill 81? I'm like, dude, listen, you know about the grain deal in Ukraine, along with OPEC talking about how they was going to slash production. That's why the prices went up by $1, at least $1. Well, actually, 75 cents, because I judge everything based off of my fuel discounts. So my fuel discounts are normally 50, 60 cents off the gallon. So right now, I pay like 350 now. I was paying $3, but now I'm paying 350. So the wholesale jumped up by like 50 cents, but the real price jumps up by $1. That's how it works. Going on Quiz the Prince, going on Joseph Majors. So we're in line, and the dude is trying to tell me that he's losing all this money and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, listen. And he was talking about how good it was under Trump. I'm like, listen, man. The industry have just changed. Everybody got screwed. Like, if you wasn't out there during the COVID situation, once everything opened back up, if you didn't have those contracts with those actual suppliers where everything was down, they didn't mess with you once they came back up. They punished the hell out of most trucking companies that did not run during COVID. They punished the hell out of those dudes. Punished the hell out of them. But a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for the fact of taking them a couple months off. Companies actually keep in mind the people who actually tried to help them when everything was down versus when things came back up. So I'm like, okay, because this is a talking point. It's not true. The only thing you have to do is press them on their talking point. Ask them questions about their talking point. I'm like, okay, so what industry are you in? I'm like, oh, I'm in transportation and I'm in real estate. Okay, great. Transportation, obvious. We're in Freightliner, so I would assume he's in transportation. Okay, that's great. Okay, real estate. So what kind of real estate are you in? Well, I flip houses. I'm like, all right, okay. So you flip houses. You flip houses. Okay. Wood did not wood actually did go up by a lot under the Trump administration because of the actual trade war with China. So I had to let's go over some particulars about what commodities went up and for what reason. Again, you know what I'm doing, right? I have to educate him about his wrong ass point of view. Like always with these talking point based things. These people do not know what the hell they're talking about. They never know what the hell they're talking about. What's going on, Delphi? And it's okay to not know these things. It's okay not to understand these things. Because you have to understand, most of these environments that these individuals go into, they don't get any pushback because they want to show off their quote unquote middle of the road type clout by just claiming that they made more money in another reason or another. So they radicalize self interest means that they can do whatever they want. And that's fine too. But at the end of the day, if this is your industry, because I got some friends who flip houses, that industry hasn't went anywhere. You can go to most banks in this country and find bank owned properties that they will give to you to rehab and loan you the money for and help you fix that property up and help you sell it. And if you worked with one bank, I'm just telling you how this stuff works, right? It's called Deion Davis. So if you work with one bank and you built the relationship with a group of banks, they will give you lines of credit in order to fix up these houses and put them back on the market and sell them. Because to the bank, it's better to let you do all the work than them continuously to keep taking losses on these houses. And you're taking all this inventory down from them and you're turning it into a profit because these banks are in the mortgage business. They're not in the fixing houses business. They don't know how to do that. They're not going to waste time on that. They're not going to do any of that stuff for the most part. So I'm explaining to him that I know how your industry worked that you claim that you were losing money in. So once you start explaining to, because I know how a lot of this stuff works. Me, I want to learn how this stuff works. So that way I can spot lies when people are stunting on this information in front of me. So random off that point. I'm like, bro, if you really think that you're going to be flipping houses and all of a sudden a presidency is going to change and you still don't have access to that same inventory of houses or people foreclosing, like, who are you talking to about this issue? And the Hill's like, oh, well, well, it went up for me in my case. I'm like, dude, you don't flip houses, bro. You don't flip houses. There ain't no way you flipping houses because this real estate is still selling, dude. Regardless of what area of town are you in, these houses are not staying on the market for that long. They're selling. They're selling for prices that they shouldn't be selling for, but they are selling nonetheless. So we go to the next issue, taxation. The Hill's like, oh, taxes are too high, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, the only people who pay full price in taxes are stupid ass motherfuckers who don't know how to use the tax code to their benefit. Did we not see that Donald Trump claimed to be a billionaire, but only paid like 1 to 3% in actual taxes once his actual tax returns came out? No one is paying the marginal rate that is set at. No one is doing that. Not capital gains people, not real estate people. No one is paying that. Not even large corporations are paying that. It's a really good idea. What's going on, May? Those guys don't like hearing contrasting perspectives. They don't like simple, logical exchange of ideas. Yeah, I got to actually review when you got jumped by all those big, strong men on the panel, on Green Gorilla's panel. I have to do that another time. Yeah, I ain't got time right now, but I will do a review of that because I thought that was highly out of control what they were attempting to try to do on that panel. I didn't like that. I think they should have gone over way better. But you have people who want to have a specific type of conversation, and women up there asking simplistic questions, kind of getting in the way of them running their game on everybody. That's another thing I brought up to him. I'm like, dude, who's doing your taxes? Who is doing your taxes to where you're paying the maximum amount of money out of your pocket? Who is doing your taxes? They're like, well, I got, okay, how much you paying? Silence. You want to know why there's silence? Because he's not in the actual, maybe not even in a trucking situation. He probably don't own a truck. He's probably not flipping houses. The only people who are stuck complaining about taxes, who are actually complaining about taxes, are dudes who are 1099 and W-2 employees. Those I'm talking about W-2 employees and 1099 who don't get any write-offs for any reason. Those are the two groups of people who have the highest complaint about taxation. That is logical. Hold on a second. What's going on, man? Yeah, I'm not a real estate dude. Like I fix up and I put stuff on the market and it sells. I wouldn't suggest buying a house, not in this climate, because houses are way overpriced. This values in these houses are going way out of control. So I'm not a good person for that. There are people in this space that does have that expertise. I'm not comfortable trying to get somebody into a real estate situation. I only know about my situation. You see that? I'm not an expert in it. I didn't try to bullshit my way past it. I just told them straight up, I'm not the person for that. I flip houses. I'm not a mortgage person. Again, you got to set limits on actual information because otherwise you could just claim that you're a master teacher and all of a sudden you know everything about everything. Says salute. Thanks for the 999 super chat. Uh-oh. Listen, about this taxation piece. If you work two jobs or if you work two 1099 contracts and you're not incorporated as a C corp, but you have to go through all the paperwork for an actual C corp. Many people claim their corporation, claim their C corp, and they don't go through all the actual paperwork that it takes to actually be a C corp. Your actual accountant can easily do that stuff for you. Can easily go back 5 years and turn you into a C corp from 5 years ago and get you tax cuts and breaks from the previous 5 years that they're gonna have to give you money back for. Because that's what happened when I first got my C corp. Because see, once you start throwing around the actual terms, and then eventually once I made a certain amount of money, then I turned into an S corp. But the point is that if you're actually playing the game that you're supposed to be playing, there's no way that you're paying this high ass amount in taxes. You're just not. It's just not possible that you're out there paying this high ass amount in taxes. So I'm like, okay. So you maybe may be or maybe not be in the trucking industry. You may or may not be in the real estate market, or unless you flip the house, had a whole bunch of money, and you just took the hit because you wanted to spend the money on some bullshit, that happens too. When people get that money from flipping the house and they would rather take that high ass tax percentage loss at the end of the year because you didn't have another vehicle to put that money in. And so now your accountant is coming to you and you looking crazy because you have to give up that amount of money. But see, you know this stuff before you actually get into these actual things by itself. Me, no matter what it is, I get a place, I'm trying to fix it up. I ain't selling that shit till January because I'm not trying to sell a place in December or even November and I end up having to quickly get off into something else that I don't have enough time to research. But that's how the real estate thing goes. But like a lot of these people come out here, flip one place, fix it up, the value go way up, they cash out, and then they don't put the money in something else, and then they get hit with that penalty at the end of the year. Now they mad as shit, but they don't want you taking that money home from the real estate thing. They want you to put that money right back in the real estate. But once you start asking these tax questions and all this kind of stuff, I'm telling you, when a business person walks up to you talking about their tax problems, they're telling you that they know that you're too stupid to know how taxation works. And why would you go to somebody who's not in your tax bracket to talk about things that are happening within your tax bracket? They know that this stuff is so complicated, and the only thing it takes is an actual specialist within your field to actually help you with taxation. But see, they want to push the actual idea that taxes are too high. So that way you need to quote unquote lower taxes so that way they can hire people. Again, tax cuts are a balance sheet item. Tax cuts don't force people to hire employees. If that was the case, it would be part of the tax cut. With this tax cut, with this money saved, you will pay these people X amount more dollars an hour. You will give these type of benefits with those tax cuts. But see, when tax cuts come through, tax cuts is a balance sheet item. After everything is already paid for, after the business is done. So, well, thank you for the $20 super chat. But it's just that you have to teach people how these things work, so that way, like you don't have corporate bootlickers who come around and acting like they're missing out on tax things when they don't even have a business. Yes, entertainers should be mad as shit about the tax thing because most of these things are in these people's name. They get paid as employees and they get hit with that whopping ass percentage out the gate. Out the gate. They getting hit with a lot of money. All these people on TV, all these actors, if they don't have their corporate shit set up correctly, they're getting paid and they're getting hit with the highest marginal tax rate. The highest marginal tax rate. But why would they come to you, somebody who's not in their tax bracket, to help them with their actual issue? Because there's more of you than there are of them. But Alchemist, thanks for the 1999 super chat. I think that is. Yeah, MOT knows how things work. Yes. The thing is, once you know and understand how these things work, nobody can come around to you and start bullshitting you like you don't understand how they work because it's simple things. Because see, because once I do the breakdown of yellow, it's gonna blow your mind how much money that these people have gotten. It's gonna blow your mind how you can easily set up a trucking business and actually operate it at like point nearly 1% of the cost that it used to be, and it makes all the sense in the world for these individuals to come around and actually cannibalize their companies. Yeah, yep. So that dude came out and said that crazy stuff, man. I'm like, bro, where they get this stuff from? Where do they get this stuff from? But that's what it is. They come around to people who don't know anything about how things work, and then they put inside your head how you gonna work for them. Crazy. going on? Truth is, I know it. What's going on? Spec streaming. What's going on, Martin Perry? Like the only thing I say straight up, whenever I see one of these dudes doing this shit, I just tell them quickly, "Hey man, get the corporate dick out of your mouth. Are you a billionaire? Are you a millionaire? Are you a spokesperson for them? If all those answers is no, then don't talk to me about tax cuts and tax breaks. That easy. Not hard." What's going on? That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. There are tax strategies that you have to have 2 and 3 years in the making. So for to say that you all of a sudden hit with something, that doesn't make any sense. That means you didn't plan properly, or else you're just straight up lying about it. Because most of these people are not making any of the money that they claim that they're making. The only thing they're using somebody else's talking point that they don't even understand. They don't even understand it. Go on, Chuck Wiggly. Go on, man. Like, how do you care so much about billionaires who do nothing but get money away from the government? But you're only concerned about the actual government. But that's the problem. The problem is that they don't want you having this information. Like if you simply had this information 20 years ago, you would laugh in the face of any person who purportedly called themselves a millionaire talking about tax breaks and tax cuts are needed to like stimulate the economy. That's not the case. The only thing that's going to help you with your business is having customers. Tax cuts don't lead to customers. It never has led to a bigger customer base for anybody. But these people are trained to see tax cuts and tax breaks a certain type of way. They're trained to see it when it's Latinos. They're trained to see it when it's women. They're trained to see it when it's welfare recipients. They are so untrained to see it when it's actual corporations. It's crazy. They are very untrained to see it when it's corporations. They're very untrained to see it or hear about it when it's Sean Hannity getting all them HUD contracts under Trump. The country is never broke. They're just not spending money on you. That's what it is. The country's never broke. Never have been broke. Never will be broke. Trust me. If we were broke, how do we have all this money to send aid over to Ukraine and Israel and all the India and all this shit? There's a whole list of actual money that we give these people every year. And you know what happens? Those people get that money every year. Do you hear these people who who talk about all this taxation bullshit? They never bring it up. You want to know why? It's corporations. They really love when corporations screw over the fucking taxpayer. They really just can't stand when somebody gets a welfare check for $200 or $300, but they'll let millions of dollars go out the window. It's nuts. The Quincy Prince, thanks for following super chat. I seen that Yellow was a money grab by their management when I first started trucking in 2004. I look at all the money they got from the taxpayers. Yes! No one's talking about those 2 PPP loans, that huge ass EIDL loan, and that actual ERD employee retention credit. Nobody's concentrating on that. I guarantee you, if they would not have gotten those three things, actually four things, they would have not went out of business. They seen all that money, they got all that money from the government, and then they just closed their doors. They plan to do this shit on purpose. They always should have military members here. You have people trying to up armor their Humvee and shit for years over there in Iraq before they actually got the contract to actually do it. That's what I'm saying. Strong self awareness. All right, so let me give you an example. If the country is so broke, which one of these contractors decide to give up their military contract because the country's broke? Which one of these corporations decided that they didn't want to build an extension onto an Air Force base, a building? Name me a company that said, you know what, the country's broke. You know what, we care so much about the deficit and the debt. I'm not going to fulfill this military contract. Which one of these people turned down that? Dude, they never turned down a military contract. You want to know why? The government is only poor when actually poor people need shit. That's when the country's poor. That's when we got to worry about how this stuff's going to be paid for. Again, they come to people who don't make money and talk to them about taxation. While these people are sticking any manner and number of government contract money in their pocket. While they're trying to tell these welfare recipients and these students that they don't get Pell Grants and shit. Like, dude, I've never bought those arguments. I never even cared about people who talk that type of stupid shit. I'm like, man, look, man. Look at this fucking corked, dick sucking motherfucker right here. I bet this dude make no money. I bet this dude is out here pro bono, caping for large ass corporations, and he ain't getting shit out of it. Come on, man. At least be part of Grover Norquist's group, the Club for Growth. At least be part of the American for Prosperity think tank. Don't be out here caping for these militaries for the these contractors for the free. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? No, it was a conversation that I had with a person, and we have to stop these people from using these talking points about how they was making so much money under Trump, and all of a sudden the money disappeared under Biden. And I had to walk this dude down on the transportation piece, his lack of taxation awareness, his lack of not knowing or understanding how the real estate market works, especially when it comes to flipping houses. And it's like, dude, listen, if you just want to be over there on the right, dude, there is nothing wrong with that. But don't come out here in public trying to find bullshit reasons to be on the right. That's something that I do have a problem with. Because he'll like, oh well, I'm in the middle. Like, dude, there's nothing in the middle that you talked about. Everything that you talked about was pure right wing talking points. Oh, you must be on the left. Yeah, I'm on the left. Yeah, very easy. Yeah, I do believe in universal health care. No, I may be a disabled vet, but guess what? I don't think that I'm more important than anybody else here. I want everybody else having the same health care I got. But there's a lot of people out here who just don't know how things work. And it's pretty much it's pretty okay to be where you are. But see, when you're honest about where you are, that's when you can coordinate and get things to work properly. When you have to lie about where you're at and you're not sure where you're at, and you have to make up all these sideways ways of having conversations about taxation, which is a very specific and pretty straightforward thing. Government contracts, very specific and straightforward thing. Nonprofit organizations, it's cumbersome for a reason. I never do the financial part. I do the planning and organizing and the actual execution part. That's what I do when I work with these people. Plan, organize, execute. I could just be a consultant. I'll set the whole thing up for you. I'll just get the stuff on the ground working right. I know y'all get a lot of money. Just I'm just asking for not that much, and I'll set it all up for you. That's what I do, not the financial portion. But the reason why we can't have collective or even individual progress when it comes to this is because everybody's trying to get something for free. Everybody's trying to get something without truly investing properly. And look, are you supposed to put your eggs in one basket? No. But if the other basket is voting against every single thing that is happening to you, then you damn well better put your eggs in the basket that's actually supporting most of the things that you need. See that? When you went to the right groups, because the right groups require some type of admission to their group. They just don't let you just walk in there or walk through there. You got to have something. You see, that's what I'm talking about with the social circle piece. You got to have something to be invited to these groups. They're just not going to invite no renegade into their group. They don't know. They don't know what your intentions are. You're about to mess up everybody's money. But see, at the end of the day, if you operate like a damn reptile, they already know that before you come around. And the same people are the same individuals who say, well, man, you know, Boule, Jack and Jill, these dudes are too uppity. Like, nah, man, we want to protect that power base. We're not about to have you coming in here and messing our stuff up. But a lot of these people, they don't even understand that. They would rather lie about what they made and what they paid rather than educate themselves on the entire system itself. Because the actual money that you want to make is in understanding the process, not by not by trying to rip somebody off for the quickness. You see, people don't understand that. They don't want to understand that. They want to leave it up to everybody else to do the work for them. They want to build it, and they want to get to a 50% plus one ninja rate within your organization, and then they mutiny you out of your whole thing, and then they end up cannibalizing and destroying it. The Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks all over again. Yeah, yeah, they'll pull a whole Bolshevik revolution right in the middle of your actual business. They will somehow get you out of the business, and somehow they'll cannibalize the entire business. Stuff won't even work right 3 or 4 months after you leave and you built it. This is why you have to leave these people behind. They're waiting for somebody else to correct all this for them, so that way they can come in, they can ruin, and they can destroy it. They do not want to invest properly because they can't even be honest about how these things work. Look, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know. And I had to go learn this stuff because learning was very interesting to me to watch these people come up in my face and lie to me about stuff that I already know. And I just simply break them down like, no, sir, I don't believe that. I think you're lying about that because I know how this, and this works. And I know how this, and this works. What field are you in? Oh, okay. Where do you work for? Okay. Have you told that company that you get paid off of to stop taking these tax cuts and breaks? But you want these other people to not get what they want out of it, but you want everything that you want out of it. Oh, okay. Again, you're purely a conservative because you hate the outcome of the black community. Oh, okay. You worried about this money for welfare. You really think that? Yeah, that's what they're always doing. Yep, you got it. But at the end of the day, this is how this stuff works. And they don't want you understanding how it works because their job is to shut down our progress. As you can see within the space, everybody want to galvanize the voice around the woman who has not done anything to them personally, but they want to make that the actual idea so that way nothing works. They have to bring everything back to a standpoint of not really working. They have to do that. But these people know and they understand that people who got real power, real money, real things to lose, they don't tolerate this type of talk around them. They don't tolerate political ignorance around them because they look at people who push this political ignorance as some type of person who has no integrity. Because it takes a lot of no integrity to deliberately misunderstand how this specific system works. It takes a lot of deliberate political ignorance to misunderstand how a very specific system works. Yeah, like especially when all this money, real money, is going out the budget for like fixing these roads, especially these contracts for fixing these roads. Most of these states get the same amount of money from the highway administration, but you have varying levels of disrepair when it comes to these roads when you go to most of these states. Oh yeah, they charge you like $5,000 a year to be a part of their group. Easily $5,000 a year to be a part of their group. To be part of somebody's business mastermind group who does government contracts, easily 5,000 a year you'll be out of. Yep. And those people who are on that nonsense, those people who hang out online with all these credentials and talk about all this bullshit, they'll never get invited to one of those things ever. And the moment you get invited, you will be exposed. You will get fronted by people who are there. You will get fronted by people who are there. They want to know what industry you in, how long you been there, where you moving up to, what are your future, everything. But see, with certain individuals, you can't ask them about the past or the future because they don't have it figured out yet. They're trying to figure out how they're gonna use everybody. They ain't trying to bring no value to nobody's group, and they definitely not gonna pay the money to even be a part of that. I mean, those people have been there for years. They've been there since I was there. We're talking about late '90s. I know they just didn't get there now, but they rather not do that. They rather hustle and flow and game their way into these situations, which those people have no respect for BS artists. No respect, none whatsoever for BS artists. They're they're not gonna let you walk in and game their way into nothing. They cannot even stand the sight of somebody who would even do business like that. Yeah, what's going on, Roger Pike? Yeah, that's what they do. Until you walk up to a person who's in the same field that you are, or claim to be in. I've seen it a whole bunch of times. A person claimed to be in the field. A person walks up, asks them basic questions about their field, and they can't answer it. Yeah, man, they escort them out the building. They escort them out of there. They escort them out of there. Because in those environments, if you can't be honest with what you are actually doing or what you do for a living, there ain't no way you're gonna be able to be around those people. They got enough things to watch for. They ain't got time to be watching their back. They ain't got time for that at all. That's how the game works, though. Could you imagine? not playing by specific rules and trying to get specific outcomes, but you can't follow simplistic directions and you're waiting for everybody else to do the work for you? That'd be crazy. Could you imagine that? You're trying to get this stuff done, and you spent all this week setting up this meeting, and all of a sudden you got a BS artist in there trying to hustle and flow his way through the conversation. Dude, ain't nobody trying to hear that, man. Nobody's trying to hear that. Hey, man, look, let them have this internet stuff, man. Just go be something offline where you don't have to lie about your personal life or hide things from it. Dude, you can just go produce. You ain't got to worry about nothing going on or nothing going wrong, and that's it. Because they don't want to live in an equitable world, man. They think their job is to BS everybody. That's what they think their actual job is. They think their job is just to BS everybody. Everybody's going to do the hard work and the hard lifting. That's why people with power like Dodge even being around these dudes. Tanya, I'm telling you right now, those people just get mad and just walk off from the conversation because they meet dumbasses like this all the time. And they feel humiliated, embarrassed, and destroyed. However, at the end of the day, all this stuff had to be built from the ground up. I didn't know either. I'm telling you right now, I didn't know either. And I had to start off at the bottom like everybody else. I had to start off at the bottom like everybody else, doing security contracts for a while. Why? Law enforcement was my background. They would let you just do the law. They'll just let you do the security stuff. Well, nobody was going to invite you in and mess up their IT stuff, invite you in and mess up their actual construction stuff. Like, bro, wasn't nobody going to do that for you? You was going to have to build your position. And think about it. If you can't follow simplistic ass directions, I'm talking about simplistic ass directions to a specific result, there ain't no way these people going to have you around them. There's no way that that's going to be able to work. So what I'm saying is like, you don't have to be caping for tax brackets that your ass ain't in. Listen, no one is paying these taxes like you think they are. All these people complaining about this taxation and stuff, dude, they're nowhere near the actual tax cuts and base for it. Elon Musk get I don't know how many millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars per month for these pet welfare programs. You don't have anybody who say anything about that. Oh, God, Phil Lawson. You don't have anybody who say anything about Elon Musk getting all this money for these projects. How many people you think covered when the last time SpaceX didn't get that launch off the ground? I think it was last week. You think any of these people covered that? You think any of those people covered that? They didn't cover that. Why you think they didn't cover it? They didn't cover it because black women was not associated with the conversation. That's the only way that you can get these dudes to even talk about the government. It's the women have to be involved with the actual decision making process before they can even notice something wrong with the government. It's not just Apple. I think the top 50 mega corporations in the United States, ExxonMobil and Verizon being two of them, they don't pay no taxes either. They don't pay no taxes, but you have all of these people worried about taxation. But they don't know the people who's getting away with the most egregious not paying any taxes at all. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't talk to me about taxation. Listen, the only reason why you paying high ass taxes is because you're an employee. And being an employee is cool. I was an employee for a hell of a long ass time. I think I work a hell of a lot more now as an owner than I ever did as an employee. But the thing is, I like what I do. I like what I do. I don't even consider this work. I consider it time consuming. But all this time consuming thing that I'm doing, I'm still learning how to do other things. Actually, they need for women to be powerful. So that way they can justify talking about them. They need for women to be powerful in their scenario. Because if the women wasn't powerful, then they have to explain why they're at the bottom. And nobody wants to talk about that why they're at the bottom shit. No one wants to talk about why are you worried about minimum wage jobs in 2023 shit. Nobody want to talk about no conversation like that. But guess what? Taxation is only important when you're giving away things to women. Corporations investment is not really important until black women are getting investments and black men should get that money. No, black men shouldn't get that money. They shouldn't. Men should be riding off the productivity piece. And yes, you can team up with those women who are actually getting that goddamn money and work together. But see, you can't do that. What's going on, Section Red TV? The problem is most of these people can't even work with the women in the space. Think about it. A lot of you dudes can't even be on panels with women without trying to hold one specific woman responsible for every fucking woman you ever came in contact with in life. And that's a random woman online that you can't fucking handle being around for 5 minutes. Say it again. And it's most of these women who run these nonprofit organizations who care about black boys. All of them that I'm part of them are ran by women. Most of them, they're black boy specific, ran by women. All of them. But that's the thing, man. Everything that you want is on the other side of learning about these processes that you think are boring, that you think are dumb, that your ass don't understand. Why you think they're not sharing the information with you? You don't see these people out there stunting on what type of contracts they got. They keep that stuff on the real hush hush. Dude, I'm telling you, there's no reason to be going around talking about, speaking about, or acting like taxation is important. There is nothing wrong with having a woman who owns a salon paying that 5 grand or maybe even 10 grand if you don't know anybody to put her through that woman-owned business certification from the federal government and run contracts through her. Have her signed on with everybody who's part of your goddamn group, and you get first priority. Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with getting gay motherfuckers on your goddamn team. They get them contracts faster than anybody else too. You see, the problem is when you can work with everyone, you can have a better outcome. That's what I'm saying, man. These uh these 1099 easy ass niggas who's worried about these goddamn taxes. Everything that goes toward black women, this shit is stupid. It just don't even make any sense. Yep, that's what it is. Show me on the pockets where Keisha touched you. Show me on the pockets where Keisha didn't touched you. That's what it is, man. All this redirection of all this anger and rage because you failed in life and you don't know what's going on and ain't nobody giving you a private fucking press conference on what's going on, so you have to be forced to go around, troll, say, and do all this stupid ass shit rather than just simply learn how things work. That shit don't make no sense, man. You're having all these credentialed individuals who want to talk about the merits of SBE to unsuspecting men who could just easily get their shit together and leave all these failed men the fuck alone. Shit's crazy. The only thing you gotta do is ask them, what's the end goal and what's the timeline? Okay, sucking all this corporate dick, acting like you don't know how taxation works when it's pretty simple. You can just like chat GPT. How does the tax system work? They give you a whole paragraph of shit to tell you how it works. It's not hard. But but when you reject the information on purpose and keep playing dumb on purpose, man, ain't nobody should have any remorse for people like you. Listen, listen. When you run into these black woman motherfucking logistics companies, they can't wait to give black dudes loads. They can't wait to give black dudes fucking a better deal than anybody else. They can't wait to do it. They can't wait to do it. Especially in the South, can't wait to do it. But they run into so many hustle and flow ass fucking dudes that they can't really do business. Let's go on narrative dialogue. What's going on? That's why I say once you take the focus off antagonizing the women, we can literally get to actually cleaning up this actual space and actually making sure that the people who need to be in that relationship argument just be somewhere else. I don't want to attract those type of people to my conversation. That's what I'm saying. Like it don't make any sense to have all this focus on taxation and what women are getting, especially when these military contractors are getting billions of dollars a year that you don't complain about. Because the money don't go to the so-called troops. You already know that. The Iraq and Afghanistan war showed you that that was the case. Yep. So look, you got to start taking these things that these people hide behind off the table. Because here's the thing: there ain't nothing wrong with being in the middle. There's nothing wrong with looking at the information how it comes to you. But what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna pretend to be in the middle, keep sniping at the left and let the right off for everything. You're not. You're clearly not in the middle at that point. Hell yeah, Halliburton. But at the end of the day, this, like not learning about the system, not knowing about the system, pretending that oh it's just so hard. Like, dude, that's where all the money's at. All the money is centered around the stuff that you think is boring. Hell, like it don't matter. Say it again, Joseph Majors. And what about that chow hall food? We know the Air Force had the money to pay for ours. Hey man, look, bro, listen, man. Bro, you go into some of these chow halls and some of these barracks, boy, I'm telling you, man, you wouldn't want to stay there. You would not want to stay there. You have to stop looking at ignorance as a badge of honor. You have to stop looking at being helpless and needing everything explained to you like you're a 5 year old, like it's a badge of honor. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And I'm talking about right on the chow hall line. We had that shit. They bring somebody in to specially cook them crab legs. Yeah. Yes, indeed. The Army loved when they stopped at Ramstein. They had to come. They had to come and eat at the chow hall on base. Man, them people loved it. That's what I'm saying, bro. We ate good in the Air Force, man. Man, we ate good in the Air Force. I'm telling you, man. But bro, listen. There's no excuse for losing right now. You got to let the people complain about these women because the women are not going to give them any access. They made her position so much more powerful that they're never going to get access to the woman now. That's why I don't see a problem with it. Hey, evolution works. Li- Listen, man, you need a chair to do everything in the Air Force. I ain't gonna lie. There's nothing wrong with the chair force, bruh. Listen, man, we go drop our munitions and we go back to our 5-star hotel, man. We ain't got time to be sleeping outside like animals, man. Fuck all that. It's hot outside, man. Yeah, well, this gonna be a warm up, so I'm gonna come back in an hour and a half at 10 o'clock, so that way we can see what happens when an uncultured reptile meets a man who grows up in a culture that does not need a BGS Ibmore, who does not need an old ass man trying to escort him to the wrong type of woman. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh man, bro, Cedric, well, listen, man. If everybody could do it over again, they would go to the Air Force. Shit, if I could do it over again, I would be in the Air Force. I would be an admin troop. I would be in an admin troop, being able to go to school, being able to go home, being at 8, leave at 4:30, all down days and holidays off. Shit, if I could do it over again, I would definitely be an admin troop. We used to clown on them admin troops and people in weather. Man, them people was cold blooded chilling. There was no reason for them to get out of the military. Yep. Because you got to sign that form whenever you eat at the chow hall. That's how they get money for the chow hall. Like the Air Force don't have no shit like that. I mean, we have it, but the sign-in form is for other branches of the actual installation because they already assume most of the people who are on meal cards are going to show up anyway. That's how the Air Force works over the Army and the actual Navy and the Marines. Say it again. People thought y'all was weak and dumb because you was fucking admin. I'm like, man, them dudes are out there living it up. Them dudes in the military part time. You get there at 4 o'clock in the morning, you waving them in and you're waving them out. You're waving them out for lunch and you're waving them out for the down days and you're waving them out for Friday and your dumb ass is still at work. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Them finance people was chilling. Oh, them finance people was chilling. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying, man. Them dudes just put on uniforms, don't even bother ironing them bitches, nothing. They just get out of bed and just put on a uniform and just come to work, boots sunshine, don't give a fuck about how they look, and them people are straight chilling. Oh yeah, like supply was the shit in the airports too. Supply was the shit. I'm not gonna lie. Supply was the shit in the Air Force. And supply people was chilling. Looking like a whole fresh ass duffel bag, man. You know how a duffel bag is? You know how after you unfold it, they got all them creases in it and shit. This is how these people are doing, man. Not even trying to iron their uniform or nothing. They just put that shit on and just come in the base, man. I'm like, God damn, these motherfuckers are getting away with murder. None. Can you imagine in the Air Force? No PT, no uniform inspection, and no expectation, no expectation of putting on your service dress the entire time your ass is in the military, in the Air Force, unless your ass is a cop or what is that? Aircraft maintenance or munitions. Nah, man, everybody was fucking chilling. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. That's not the case at all. Yes, indeed. Yes, I'm telling you. The people who they have there are the people who work the hardest and the most in the military. What's going on, spiritual hope? Nope. The only people that did that shit to was cops, munitions, crew chiefs, intelligence. Other than that, dude, no expectation of using those dress blues. No expectation. Well, since 9/11, you would have to fire your weapon once a year. But like, if it wasn't for 9/11, you didn't have to touch a gun again in the Air Force. After you went through basic training and threw that fucking grenade, that was it. You never had to touch munitions again, ever. That's how the Air Force was. I'm telling you, that is how the Air Force was. No expectation on service dress or nothing. Once you got out of basic training, that was it. Yep. Tell them about it. Tell them about it. And these people have the nerve to tell me that I'm not supposed to get these government contracts because the government's going broke. Like, dude, listen. They say that shit to dumbass motherfuckers who don't know how shit works. Say it again. You'll never hear me talk shit about the Air Force. You'll hear me talk shit about some of the bases I've been on. But the overall experience, no way. No way at all. No way at all. So I'm about to get up out of here. And I'll see y'all in an hour and a half. I want to thank y'all for coming through. And do not let these people gaslight you about how they was making all this money during the Trump administration. But then again, Biden got in office and all of a sudden they weren't making no money. That is the most illegitimate nonsense I've ever heard in my life. There is no career field. and I mean no career field, that is up and disappeared since Biden got in office. None of them. I don't think there's a bottom that dropped out of any industry since he got in office. It's gone to go. That's what it is. They go around testing out their newest political talking points from the right wing. They see them, they don't get ethered, and they just keep saying it and keep saying it until somebody actually asks them some questions about their talking points, and then it falls apart on them. But we got to take it all away from them. So I want to thank you guys for coming through. I'm the man tomorrow. I'll see you guys in an hour and a half because we have to show what happens when you run into a guy that doesn't have gynocentric programming. I keep telling you, these people ain't got nothing to offer these men around here except for actually talking about these women that ain't got nothing to do with your overall personal success. I want to thank you guys for coming through. You guys have a really nice rest of y'all night. See you in an hour.